The Haunting of Hollow Creek. On the eve of All Hallows, the moon hung low and bloated, casting an eerie glow upon the desolate town of Hollow Creek. The ancient oaks swayed with an unsettling creak, their branches contorting into grotesque shapes that seemed to writhe in the dim light. A thick fog snaked its way through the streets, obscuring the houses and alleys with a ghostly embrace. In the heart of Hollow Creek stood a dilapidated mansion, long abandoned and rumored to be cursed. Its decrepit facade loomed ominously, exuding an aura of malevolence that seeped into the very air. Few dared to venture near, for whispers of spectral apparitions and unspeakable horrors had woven themselves into the fabric of local lore. However, on this All Hallows Eve, a group of daring teenagers, lured by the thrill of the forbidden, set out to unlock the mysteries that shrouded the mansion's dark past. As they approached, the air grew colder and the fog thickened, swallowing their forms as they hesitantly stepped through the mansion's rusted gates. The interior was a labyrinth of decay, the floorboards creaking beneath their weight as they navigated the shadowy corridors. Candles flickered in sconces, casting elongated shadows that danced along the walls, mimicking the movements of unseen specters. Whispers seemed to echo from the very walls themselves, beckoning the teenagers further into the abyss. One by one, they began to feel an unshakable sense of dread clawing at their minds, urging them to flee. But a force beyond their comprehension seemed to compel them to press on, deeper into the heart of the mansion. Their flashlights flickered and dimmed, their beams barely illuminating the path ahead. As they reached a grand chamber, they were greeted by a haunting sight. In the center of the room, a spectral figure materialized, its form translucent and shifting, emitting a bone-chilling wail that pierced through their souls. Frozen in terror, the teenagers watched as the ghostly apparition recounted the tragic tale of a family long lost to the darkness that had consumed the mansion. Before they could react, the doors slammed shut, sealing them within the mansion's grasp. Desperation engulfed them as they frantically searched for an exit, their screams drowned out by the wails and moans that reverberated through the halls. With each passing moment, the spectral presence grew stronger, feeding on their fear, manifesting their deepest nightmares into a tangible, horrifying reality. As the night wore on, the boundaries between the living and the dead blurred, and the teenagers found themselves ensnared in a nightmarish loop, reliving the horrors of the mansion's past over and over again. Time lost all meaning as they struggled to maintain their sanity, haunted by the relentless echoes of the mansion's tragic history. Outside, the moon remained a silent witness, its ghastly light casting an eternal pall over the cursed town of Hollow Creek, where the night of All Hallows Eve never seemed to end, and the tormented souls trapped within the mansion's walls continued to suffer, their anguished cries echoing into the endless abyss of the night. As the night wore on, the confines of the mansion twisted and contorted, becoming a labyrinth of madness that defied all logic. Shadows took on a life of their own, slithering along the walls with an insidious hunger that seemed to feed on the fear emanating from the trapped teenagers. Their minds began to unravel, plagued by hallucinations that blurred the lines between reality and nightmare. Each corner they turned revealed ghastly apparitions of the mansion's former inhabitants, their tortured visages contorted in eternal agony. The air grew thick with an oppressive malevolence, suffocating the teenagers as they struggled to find a way to escape. The spectral figure that had first appeared now seemed to multiply, its ethereal forms stretching and contorting into grotesque shapes that loomed over the terrified group. Whispers filled the chamber, weaving tales of betrayal, revenge, and a malevolent force that hungered for their souls. They could feel icy fingers grazing their skin, an otherworldly presence probing their minds with an insatiable curiosity. In the heart of the chamber, a faint glow emerged, pulsating with an unholy energy that seemed to draw them closer. As they approached, the glow intensified, revealing a sinister altar adorned with ancient symbols etched in blood. A sense of dread washed over them as they realized the true nature of the mansion's curse, a ritualistic sacrifice that demanded fresh souls on All Hallows Eve to sustain its unearthly power. Frantic and disoriented, the teenagers scrambled to break the curse, searching for a way to disrupt the ritual that bound them to the mansion's malevolent grasp. With every failed attempt, the mansion seemed to retaliate, unleashing a torrent of nightmarish apparitions that clawed at their sanity, driving them to the brink of madness. One by one, they succumbed to the darkness, their terrified screams echoing through the chamber as they became entwined with the very fabric of the mansion's haunted history. The walls pulsed with a sinister energy, absorbing their essence as the ritual drew to a climactic finale, the air thick with the stench of death and decay. In a final act of desperation, one of the remaining teenagers managed to shatter the cursed altar, its ancient power dissipating with a deafening roar that reverberated through the mansion. The spectral figures wailed in agony, their ethereal forms dissolving into nothingness as the mansion began to crumble around them. As the first rays of dawn pierced through the shattered windows, the surviving teenager stumbled out into the morning light, the weight of the night's horrors etched deep into their soul. They cast a final glance at the decaying mansion, now nothing more than a pile of rubble and ash, its cursed legacy finally laid to rest. But as the sun rose on a new day, whispers persisted in the wind, carrying the echoes of the mansion's tormented souls, a chilling reminder that the terrors of All Hallows Eve were never truly confined to the past, lingering just beneath the surface, waiting to ensnare those who dared to venture too close to the shadows of Hollow Creek. The survivors stumbled out of the ruins, their mind haunted by the searing memories of the night's terror. But as they emerged into the light of day, an unsettling realization dawned upon them. The cursed aura of the mansion had not dissipated, it had merely shifted, seeping into the very fabric of the town itself. The once familiar streets of Hollow Creek now appeared distorted, the shadows elongated and twisted, whispering secrets that chilled the survivors' soul. Residents had vanished without a trace, their homes left abandoned, windows shattered, and doors left ajar. The survivors' footsteps echoed through the desolate streets, each sound amplifying the sense of desolation that hung in the air. Unseen eyes seemed to watch from the darkness, and a stifling dread settled over the survivor, suffocating any hope of escape. Whispers carried on the wind grew louder, an otherworldly chorus that seemed to beckon the survivor deeper into the heart of the town. Shadows danced on the walls, taking on sinister forms that writhed and twisted, as if eager to ensnare the survivor within their grasp. Every attempt to flee proved futile, as the town's malevolent presence ensnared them in an inescapable labyrinth of despair. In a last, desperate bid for survival, the survivors sought refuge in the remnants of an old church, its crumbling walls offering the faintest glimmer of protection against the encroaching darkness. But even within the sanctuary's hallowed halls, the sense of impending doom remained unshakable. As night fell once again, the survivor huddled in the church's decrepit sanctuary, the oppressive silence broken only by the distant echoes of spectral moans and the relentless whispers that seemed to emanate from every corner. With each passing moment, the survivor's grip on reality faltered, their mind consumed by the unrelenting horrors that now plagued Hollow Creek. In the depths of that endless night, the survivor realized with a sinking heart that the curse of All Hallows Eve was not confined to the mansion or the town. It had taken root within their very being, a permanent stain that could never be erased. Their anguished cries joined the chorus of the lost, their fate forever intertwined with the dark legacy of Hollow Creek. And as the cycle of terror continued to unfold, each All Hallows Eve brought with it a resurgence of the town's spectral inhabitants, their whispers echoing through the empty streets, a haunting reminder of the eternal dread that lurked just beneath the surface. Hollow Creek had become a cursed epitaph, a cautionary tale whispered in hushed tones by those who dared to speak of the forsaken town and the unrelenting horrors that plagued it.